Follow the traces. Explore roots deep. Learn from the past. Futures to reap. Stay tuned for Qingqiao safety. Detective. Isaac Newton stands as one of the greatest scientists in history, and his renowned 3 laws have profoundly impacted and changed the world. Indeed, Newton's contributions extended far beyond his famous laws of motion. Simultaneously with Leibniz, he independently invented calculus, ushering in a new era in mathematics. Additionally, Newton made remarkable contributions to optics, further solidifying his legacy as a pioneering figure in various scientific disciplines. In the public perception, Isaac Newton is often seen as a university professor deeply immersed in academia and as a brilliant intellectual. However, it may be surprising for many to imagine that Newton, known for his scholarly pursuits, once worked as a detective, engaging in battles of wits and courage with criminals. Actually, Newton not only served as the supervisor of the Royal Mint, but also played a pivotal role in turning the tide against a rampant counterfeit currency crisis in Britain. So, how did he do it? In this exploration, we will venture into the river of history to witness the legendary tale of the great detective, Newton. This case is adapted based on true events, and the case data is sourced from NetEase News and Sohu. Chapter 1. New challenge accepted. During the 17th century, Britain faced severe financial constraints due to ongoing foreign conflicts and internal consumption pressures. In that era, hand-forged silver coins were in circulation, characterized by a relatively low level of craftsmanship. This situation created opportunities for individuals to generate substantial profits. This circumstance directly contributed to a surge in counterfeit currency in Britain by the end of the century, reaching a counterfeit rate as high as 1 in 10. In response to this issue, the British government opted to remint silver coins. Nonetheless, a substantial challenge emerged as the British government confronted the task of reminting a staggering £7 million worth of silver coins. This amount equaled the total number of silver coins issued in the preceding 30 years. In the reminting process, a continuous recycling of old coins was essential, accompanied by the issuance of new coins. Crucially, the exchange of silver coins, both in sending and receiving, had to be executed without inducing market panic or triggering economic fluctuations. Given these stringent requirements, the tasks of detecting counterfeit coins and recasting silver coins became exceptionally challenging and demanding. In the historical context of 1696, Sir Isaac Newton, at the age of 53, had already achieved significant milestones in the field of science. Despite standing at the pinnacle of academic success, he aspired to further realize his potential and contributions in other domains. At that moment, a letter arrived from the Chancellor of the Exchequer, extending an invitation for Newton to take on the role of Superintendent of the Royal Mint, a position amalgamating responsibilities such as criminal detective, interrogator, and supervisor. Upon receiving this invitation, Newton expressed immediate and enthusiastic interest in undertaking the role. Following an investigation, it was discovered that a scheme involving shear-type counterfeit coins was rampant in the market at that time. This method involved trimming a small amount of silver from the edge of authentic coins and then crafting complete silver coins from these trimmed pieces. Newton, incensed by this discovery, took swift action upon assuming office. His initial move was to enhance the currency by imprinting patterns and words on the edges of the new coins. Any damage to these edges would signify tampering or cutting, serving as a preventive measure against counterfeiting. Newton's measures brought about a temporary alleviation of the counterfeit currency crisis. However, the respite was short-lived. The Chancellor of the Exchequer delivered disheartening news that, following the eradication of shear-type counterfeiting, a new challenge arose. Someone had begun producing counterfeit money that closely resembled genuine currency, going so far as to mimic Newton's new anti-counterfeiting edge, making it nearly impossible to distinguish between real and fake. Newton was taken aback by this development. The mastery of such sophisticated technology by counterfeiters surprised him, sparking an instant interest in uncovering the mastermind behind these clandestine operations. Counterfeit currency emerged as a formidable adversary for all of Britain. During this period, a coinage expert named William Challoner gained widespread respect in society for publishing a series of popular science articles on preventing counterfeit money. Recognized for his expertise, William Challoner was recommended to Newton as an assistant with the aim of jointly combating the issue of counterfeit coins. Newton, trusting in his own intellect and judgment, declined the assistance of William Challoner. Newton was born into a peasant family in Lincolnshire, England. With his father's early demise, his mother remarried, leaving the family in dire poverty. Due to this, Newton endured frequent physical abuse at school. Despite the hardships and bullying, he remained determined to excel academically and committed himself to diligent study. At 19, Newton entered Cambridge University, showcasing exceptional intelligence and academic achievements. Despite his brilliance, financial constraints led him to become a reduced-fee student at Trinity College. To cover tuition and living expenses, he undertook various chores for wealthier classmates. Having endured the storms of poverty himself, he is determined not to witness individuals without shelter struggling in similar adversity. Recognizing the threat of counterfeit money, Newton understood its potential to worsen the plight of the impoverished in Britain. Determined, he resolved to address the issue of counterfeiters with firm and decisive measures. Newton grasped the potency of law enforcement, yet he harbored no intention of adhering strictly to conventional case-handling procedures. In a departure from conventional procedures, Newton assembled a team of detectives by recruiting his own informants, undercover agents, and enforcers. With 36 years spent predominantly in academia and minimal exposure to the real world, Newton found himself confronting the shadows of the criminal underworld. Adding to the challenge, Newton was poised to face a rare adversary whose intelligence matched his own on an equal footing. This prospect alone filled Newton with excitement. Recognizing that the sale of counterfeit currency occurs in the black market or on the streets, making transaction participants vulnerable to discovery, Newton strategizes to trace the criminal network from its outermost edges. Subsequently, he personally conducted interrogations in prison, extracting additional names from the mouths of counterfeit money dealers. Through this methodical approach, Newton progressively infiltrated the deepest layers of the criminal network, elucidating the identity of the leader of a counterfeit currency gang, codenamed Chandler. Will Newton successfully unveil the true identity of the elusive adversary concealed behind the code name Chandler? Please stay tuned for the next issue, Detective of Qingqiao Safety.